Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the sportiest stream. How you all doing? It's great to see you guys back once again. My name is Sporty FC, your caster for tonight. But man, we got a really fun match here between Showtime Razz and the undefeated football Carz. But to indulge in a match like this, you have to bring your friends along. We got Croutondust as always, and someone new to the stream. We got my man Tony. We had you playing yesterday, but you told us afterwards you wanted to join into the casting booth, Tony. And I mean, now you're here. How do you feel?
Man, I'm feeling great. We picked up that win versus Latin 7 Lime yesterday, and yeah, I'm feeling great right now.
Yeah, and as for you, Crouton, I mean, it's good as always. Hopefully, you didn't have to wake up too early for this one.
No, not quite too early. I am excited to have my man Tony here in the booth with us. If he casts anything like he plays, we're in for a fun one.
That means a lot. That means a lot of aggression. No, I'm just a lot of aggression in the casting here. As we are going to take a look at the schedule that we have in front of us. Again, this is our first match. It's a European match. It's our only trail cast of the day. And then for the other two, my man Tony's going to stick around as we watch Strikers Cast, Onyx, and Street Meat play. And then we're going to be seeing Croutondust playing on SNRF as he plays against Templars GC to play against the winner of a match we had last night. That match being Latin 7, who took out the Clippers. Whoever wins that will be playing them. But for right now, this match in front of us, football Carz, Showtime Razz, European action on the Sporty stream. And surprisingly, this is not the first time we've had European action. Seems like we get European action about every single week. And and football Carz always seems to be in that discussion of getting me here. It's nice to see him here. It's nice to see him back again, on the stream. Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna. I guess you guys are like dumbfounded. You're like, oh, he just keeps on talking. It's so mesmerizing. No, but as we're saying again, it's a 2v2 here as well. I have casted a couple of football Carz 3v3s, but their 2v2 team has been their stellar team right now. Currently running a 7-0 record. That's impressive, isn't it? European action, but yet they're only the second team, the second seed. Take me through kind of what that's like.
Yeah, so I heard that there is also another team that is also currently undefeated. So depending on like stats and stuff like that, like how many goals are scored per game for and against each team, it really just depends on like how high up your stats get, and then that also depends on what seed you are. We have Team Mystery Wolves currently in that first seed. They are also undefeated, I believe, 7-0 currently, along with football Carz. So I'm kind of excited if it ends up with both of them in the grand finals. I'd like to see that game go on. If they both end up being undefeated, which one ends up taking that and which one comes on top?
Yeah, and I hate to say this to you. I hate to say this to you, Tony, but Mystery Wolves by Northwest actually had a loss just to Strikers Phoenix a while ago. And so actually now Football Carz is now the number one seeded in their division, but kind of crazy that they come in not as the number one seed, but now they are that team to beat. Another undefeated team. So many undefeated teams lose out in the quarterfinals, right next to that semifinals, and that's where the competition really gets tough for you. You don't have you have maybe an easier first round, but second round's really where it gets tough here, as all these teams hardened and strong. Croutondust can definitely say it. There's a big difference between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, and then the semifinals. There's a huge jump.
Absolutely, yeah. Once you get out of round one playoffs, you might as well say are just part of the regular season, honestly. But once you starting round two, that being quarterfinals, things get really hectic really fast. The nerves can get to you, and it's just it's a fun time, but it's kind of a tough time too to be a team there. But a win in round two is a really great thing. I've had a couple in my sort of long IGL career, but I've had just as many losses in round two as I have wins, I believe. So it's always interesting.
Everybody laugh at Crouton not being able to win round two as we go. You guys in the lobby? Are you? Are you in the lobby? Go from the lobby. I sent you guys the info.
I am in the lobby, yes.
Okay, and Crouton is?
Yep, I'm in there as well.
Great, and you guys can see the two team names as we are getting confirmation from the players. They are joining, so we're going to be here soon. Again, there is a prediction poll currently up for you guys to vote on who you think will win. Hello, Flint! In the chat. Hey, there's Flint, everybody. Say hi to Flint. Flint here, the captain of the captain of Showtime Razz, if the captains are playing like the captains at our last match, then this could be a really fun series, honestly. European action, and you feel that there might be a bit of a difference sometimes when it comes to when Europeans play than North Americans. These teams, but really, it's all about getting wins against their counterparts here in this division. As we are getting closer and closer to the end of the season, medals are going to be handed out in 2 weeks. So everybody is going to be making sure that they grind as much, play as much as they can, and get those wins that they need, no matter how ugly or how good they look.
It is always sort of a mad dash when you get to getting close to the medal games here. I believe once you get in, if you win round 2 playoffs, you're guaranteed at least a chance at a medal, right? Because then you go to the bronze
Yes,
match, you lose.
because at the very worst, you could play in the third place match.
Right, yeah. So it's always a win in round 2 playoffs is really a big deal because again, like you are guaranteed that medal match. But interesting, you've mentioned this a couple times. These are European teams. I have a specific opinion on European versus North American teams. I'd love to
Mm.
be proven wrong here, and they put on a really good show. I'm excited to see it.
Wow, Crouton, the most North American biased person ever. Well, I'm actually kind of slightly EU biased. I actually really love European action, but that's because that's RLCS. Our European action's fun because everybody's so aggressive. But here we go. We're getting into these. We're gonna get into the end game here, as it is again Football Carz versus Showtime Razz. The two teams going to be facing off against each other, and while Showtime Razz does have a 4-3 record, and they're both very similar in the stats. And I know you've been studying a bit on the stats there, Tony, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually have both of the stats pulled up right here. As we can see, we have a little bit more of goals per game for football cards. But if we look over at their assists, which is what I really like to look at each game, football cards has quite a bit more assists. There with Shadow than anyone on Showtime, and I want to see if that can possibly become a really big factor for this game because personally the way that I like to play
Yeah.
twos is they bring it from the corners in and just try to like get those passing plays started because if you can bring it through the corner right in front of their net, it's like almost a goal every single time. But then you also have those long passes from backfield. So if you have someone rotating back as that second man and they are able to boom it up to that first man, you get it past that midfield almost every single time. So I want to
course.
see if that ends up playing a factor into this game today.
Yeah, and even though two players on football cards have over an assist per game, the assists are only a difference of 0.4 for the team. So that's very interesting to look at. You could definitely say that maybe we're going to see a lot of shooting here from Tusty. Tusty does have a ton of goals. Over 2.5 goals a game. But again, goals only a 0.2 difference. As I do see you guys chatting around in there. I see I do see Intercept. I see the next round opponents, Intercept Mythicals, taking a look and see who they're going to play next. Good idea there, guys. Intercept Mythical playing against the winner of Football Cards Showtime Razz. So definitely going to see that. And that also brings us to common opponents as well. Intercept Mythical just played Whack Dollies. But both these other teams have also played Whack Dollies. Football Cards had a 3-1 win, whereas Showtime Razz lost 3-1 to Whack Dollies. Both also played Plasma Kex. That was a 3-1 win for Football Cards and a 3-0 win for Showtime Razz. And lastly, they played each other. And that did not go well if you were a Showtime Razz fan.
I've got a quick question for my man Tony. He was just on the field last night, so he knows what it's like to come down and be on the pitch come playoffs. I'd like to know, walk us through what these players must be feeling right now as you just were playing last night.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of it has to do with how much preparation that you put forward into your game as of like practices with your teammates on who you're going to be playing with, and also like doing VOD reviews. If you can find anything on your opponent that could be a possible weakness, you want to make sure that you try to exploit that as much as possible. Like one of the things that we noticed last night is that once we started playing a little bit faster against the Lime, and once we started getting some of those bump plays in, and once we started getting some of those demos in, that's when their defense really started to crumble a little bit. And the second that we could get a passing play going and possibly get that first man onto some demos, then that's when we knew that we could send either Yugi, Mickey, or myself at the ball, and that we could 100% try to get that goal.
And the big thing I want to pay attention to that is the fact that you guys changed your playstyle. during that series, even with the same 3 people. That's going to be important at this point in the series, especially when we get to those best of 7s. Longer series, you're almost required to have to make playstyle changes. You can't just win with the same playstyle. It's very tough to do so in a best of 5 or even a best of 7. And and you have to make those changes when they do come. As here comes football cars.
Right.
So there they are. They're in. It's gonna be Tusty and Samuel versus. Oh, and now Tusty's uploading some sort of image to me. I don't know what it is. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, to kind of like piggyback off what you were saying with changing play styles, that's one of the things that we noticed that we ended up having to do. Because we noticed that during our second game against Lime last night, even though I ended up coming out of the gate with 2 of those goals, um, we noticed that we ended up playing really timid. So we had to make that change into the third round. Me and Yugi were talking, and we were like, "Hey, we have to play a little bit more aggressive and start getting these bump plays started."
Yeah, and what a great way to kind of get in there. You're talking about your own experiences here. You can check with the report option. That's really smart, actually. I should probably do that a little more. Thanks. Hey, you guys are smart. There's Menza coming in with the help because I'm the dum-dum. Anyways, everybody's in the lobby.
We'll be interested to see how Showtime Razz comes out of this one. They're up against an undefeated team, being football cars. I'll be interested to see how they start out, and if it doesn't go the way they want, I would be very interested to see what they change. As you were saying, especially when you come to best of 7s, you'll get a lot of playstyle changes, but could be even at a best of 5. Sometimes you've got to make a change, and we'll see how that turns out for these teams.
Flint's so excited. Here we go. We get into game
Alrighty.
1. What a car from Flint as well. God goodness. Flint's making a statement, not literally in the literally in the chat, and also with that car. My goodness. We start this series off. It's a best of 5, and Samuel went off the kickoff with a goal.
Oh my goodness, we have such a fast start from this team over here at Football Cards. Already wanting to make a statement up against Showtime, showing them who's the boss and why they are currently number 1. We have kickoff going off into Showtime's favor. Maybe trying to get a pass here like I was talking about earlier.
Ooh, what a demo as well from Tusty. Football Cars getting a little bit aggressive here, fighting back against the fire of Showtime Razz with their own fire. And Crouton, take me through again. We talked about those demos with Tony, but your own experience with demos. As just hold off on that thought. We have Tisty 6 to score again. A goal for Football Cars after Kim Jong Merkel's awkward touch. He found himself in front of Flint's clear, and Tusty is just able to take it back with concealing that mistake. In game 1 now, Crouton, demos already coming out. Could that be worrying for the Showtime Razz team, who are on the orange side here, as those demos could hurt their own defense?
Demos are always a huge factor, and I would say more so in 3s because you just got to take a player off the field to even get a chance at the box. But in 2s, they could be even worse because you're in a 1v2 if there's any kind of demo. If you can keep a consistent string of demos and you can keep a player off the field consistently, as Flint there, as I'm talking, he's going to cut the lead in half. But demos are absolutely a huge factor, and we'll see. We've got a couple on the board already, and we'll see what they do now with more demos.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course, what a shot from Flint as well. He just tucked it under the crossbar. Tony, that's kind of like the shooting you had yesterday. Could not miss at all, and so far, 3 goals in the first minute. Could make it 4, saved away. Tusty's shot was hitting the post as well, but you have to get rid of any of those backboard touches because at this level, the backboard could be what is left unchallenged, as there it is! Exactly when I call out the backboard. Kim Jong-Merkel in the punish them.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier, Crouton, or what you were talking about earlier, Crouton, about the demo plays. It is so detrimental in 2s because you end up being left in a 2v1. And with being in a 2v1, there's so much pressure on that one person, especially if the ball is on your side. You have to be able to count on that one person that is left in order to try to get the ball back onto the opposing team's side, in order to try to solidify a goal, or even just like stall out time for your teammate to respawn. And as I'm talking, we have Flint once again getting that goal for Showtime that they absolutely need to try to take this first match.
I feel like we're seeing a repeat here. The shooting right under the crossbar. And these moments in this sort of a tournament is when everybody has to play well, but especially your captains. They have to show up, have to lead your team, not only in the Indie Gaming League website, but also in your team comms and your team's ability to play. You gotta rely on people like Flint, like Tusty, to make sure that your team is running smoothly. As Samuel coming down, trying to get rid of Flint as well. Back pass, but it's not going to find anyone. Flint now, one-on-one, flick play, not gonna get through Samuel. And the football Carz only one goal away from tying it up. Crouton. The pressure's now on them, but they're getting some demos, as Samuel now demoed by the opposition.
It's true, and we keep going back to demos. These teams are trading demos, and something that we haven't really touched on is how do demos affect the mental state of these players? It can get very frustrating very quickly if you've taken off the field this many times. And we see another demo in Tusty. We'll take advantage of it. Or was that a demo? I couldn't quite tell.
That was a demo.
Was a demo. We're seeing more, but again, it could be, especially here when you get scored on because of a demo, it could be very frustrating, and it might take these players out of the game. They've just got to stay locked in, and a good way to do that is to get some demos yourself and kind of even the score.
Yeah, and you know what's even more annoying about that? The fact that the guy shooting went for the air dribble bump, didn't even just go for an air dribble, went in front of the ball, trying to get the touch on that last player, but it's clear! Oh, it's off the post, Samuel can't read it! Tusty needs to keep it in the corner and get rid of this pressure.
Goodness, we saw a double commit coming out from Showtime. I wonder if football is trying to just play a little bit more aggressive, try to make them go for those double commits and those demos like we were talking about earlier to possibly try to break down this defense of Showtime Razz.
Yeah, cleared away by Tusty into the corner. And John Merkel looking to bring it back onto the side of football Carz.
We're seeing a tie game so far. It's been very close. There's another demo attempt. He couldn't quite make good on it there. Dusty couldn't quite put it in there. But it's been a pretty back and forth. We've seen more demos, I would say, than the average game. We keep talking about demos. There's a reason for that. There's just a lot of demos going around. We're tied so far, but not anymore. As Flint, as I'm talking, he cuts me off with a goal.
Yeah, and we like we've been talking about this entire game, like Crouton was just saying, these demos are so detrimental in twos, because in threes, you at least have two other people on the pitch that can possibly try to help and block that goal. But in twos, you only have that one player, and if both of you are pushed up onto the opposing team's half, and one of the opposing teams gets a demo on you, there's no one in backfield. There's no one to help try to save that goal. Yeah. And that can just be so detrimental to the other team.
But what I find so interesting about demos is, especially in twos, it's very risky to go for demos as, oh no, a team bump on the back end from football Carz, calamity in front of that end, it's off the crossbar. Kim Jong-Merkel's shot's not on. Here comes Flint! 2 up! And it's brought right back. A team bump on the side of the football Carz, and Showtime Razz answering back. Sure, the demos have been tough, but Showtime Razz are tougher.
Gotta love the decal from Flint. He's got what a save on top of that breakout there on his hood. He's shooting like a cowboy so far. What does he have? He's got 4 goals already. Really strong shooter. He's wearing that what a save for a reason. Yeah,
we talk about goals, but look at those shots that he has. He has 7 shots on goal. Seven. He has 7 shots on goal.
Oh, and here comes Tusty to clean it up. Okay, well, football Carz are not out of it yet. No demos on this play, but just a great dunk from Samuel. And Kim Jong-Merkel was last back, but he can't get enough boost to catch up as Tusty's going to outpace him to this race. And the football Carz finding one back off of a dunk from Samuel.
Sir.
And this is Europe.
Go ahead.
This is Europe. I was gonna say super aggressive. I did kind of cut you off there, but this is what I expect from Europe. Europe is known for being all in on the aggression. North Americas are relatively more relaxed, more defensive, a bit more take your time, kind of get set up the play kind of play style. But Europe, all about just being able to put in so much aggression on your opponents. So many demos, so many early challenges, so much in your face play.
And one of the things I was talking about before we started this match today was those assists. As we see here, we have a total of 4 assists as Kim Jong gets a shot on net. Pretty much assisted by Flint here. He hits it onto that post, and Kim Jong is just perfectly able to get that bicycle goal. And now we have 5 assists coming up from the Showtime side. And that's one of the things that I was talking about before this game started, is making sure that you can work around that defense of the other team. And once again, we have Kim Jung coming out with another goal right off the kickoff with 22 seconds left in this match.
Kim Jong-Merkel catching Samuel, pushing up a little too aggressively. Off that kickoff, when you lose, you don't have a lot of boost, and Samuel's kind of caught in no man's land there, pushing up but not really able to make a challenge, as Kim Jong-Merkel's just going to chip that over him. And now Showtime Razz leading by 3. This has been a super aggressive game 1, Crouton.
You know what? I was coming into this, I was a little weary because, you know, I'm not a huge Europe fan, but man, this has been a really fun game 1 to watch. These European players are really proving me wrong. And my man Tony, earlier you mentioned that Flint has all these shots. He actually has more shots than the entire Football Carz team by himself. You're absolutely right. He's really shooting for the fences.
How many shots is that, actually? Oh, as Flint's gonna put it in his own net. No, he can't get another shot on the favor of him. But Showtime Razz wins game 1, and it was just a slugfest back and forth. I think we might see this continue in the next couple of games.
Yeah, 100%. We have all the momentum here on Showtime. And like you were saying, Crouton, Flint has 10 shots on the goal, as opposed to Football Carz completely in total has 9. But like Showtime altogether has 15. Football only has 9. That's a lot of shots on net. Showtime is playing super, super aggressive here. Like you were talking about, Sporty, with just like the EU side in general, just having that super aggressive gameplay.
Of course, as we're readying up for game 2, I want to say, like, again, thank you all for joining along for this. This is really fun. This is the first time my and Tony's on the stream. Everybody say Tony's the greatest or something in chat, and I'm sure he'll be blushing here. But we get to game 2, and now the Showtime Razz team has a 1-game advantage. And for Football Carz, they can't, if they're putting in that much effort on offense, they're going to wear themselves out. They need to really stop stop it on defense here, because they can't let Showtime Razz put 15 shots on them. There's just no way you can come back, as after an early start, it's saved by Kim Jong-Merkel on the goal line. And right now, Showtime Razz, their whole thing is to keep those shots rolling.
We'll be interested to see what kind of playstyle changes we see. They're going to have to change something because they're just not winning in the shootout when you've got a player like Flint, 10 shots last match, like we said. They're going to have to do something because they just can't beat him in an offensive contest, as he puts another one on net there, not quite on net.
Another one on net, they're not quite on net, is I love it as a caster, just like the things you say, you kind of predict things and it doesn't actually turn out true. Like Crouton and getting absolutely cursed every single time he says something nice about a team. As Tusty now clears it away, Merkel going into the corner, off the back wall, in for Flint! Flint will score the first goal of game 2!
Yeah, and we have another assist coming out from Kim Jung, working it in the corners like I was talking about earlier, making sure that we break down that defense and making sure that he can get that center for his teammate.
And we are seeing plenty of assists, like you mentioned at the top, Tony. I wasn't too sure, but it seems like you've got an intellect to match of my own. You call it exactly, as we're going to see another one possibly. Yes, Kim Jong-Merkel. What's one on?
And this one, unassisted. Been a while since we had one of those, but right after kickoff, Kim Jong-Merkel dices the defense and a shot to the back post. Not much Samuel can do to save that one. He's stuck in the middle of the net rather than hugging any of the corners, and he can't really make that save. It's tough to react to. And now Showtime Razz, up by 2. They could take this undefeated team for a spin and try to run in circles on them, but 2 goals up already. Football Carz might be looking at the bottom of the barrel here.
They are running on fumes here. It's been all Showtime Razz here. Really all Flint as well, but of course a lot of assists and even a goal there from Merkel. We'll see now, what can Football Carz do to overcome this, frankly, pretty strong grasp that Showtime Razz have had so far.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about before this match even started how Football Carz is undefeated currently. In the normal circuit play and playoffs currently. So maybe Showtime Razz is trying to maybe take that away from them and possibly just knock them out entirely. Maybe trying to sweep them in this, trying to make a statement to everyone else that's currently in their tier.
As Merkel doesn't read it, Samuel pinch and field for Tusty. Tusty to tuck that one under the crossbar. An infield pass from Football Carz, and when no one's defending, there's no pressure on Tusty 6 to score.
We We are going to see they're battling back here. It's a great little passing play, like you said. Tusty puts it just under the crossbar. If they could put more clean passing play shots on the net like that, we'll see them claw their way back.
And the big thing about this is the fact that it's Samuel passing and Tusty 6 shooting. That's the normal That's a normal team to be placed off from these guys. Samuel seems to be a slightly more defensive player. Tusty is a really good goal scorer. Again, the highest goal scorer in this lobby on any of these teams either. And Samuel having the most assists of any player in this lobby. But can they work those two together? Tusty's shot is not on target. Here comes Samuel, beaten away by Merkel. And the thing that Showtime Razz has is they have the same kind of solid defense, but also they're more well-rounded. There's more weapons on their team. Not just one person who's really good at shooting, but two, as both these players are averaging over 2 goals a game, just like Tusty.
We are going to see, now they're battling back on offense here. A good flick there from Tusty. We are seeing a bit more offense coming out from football Carz. That's exactly what they're going to need as Tusty takes offensive again here.
100%. And we're already looking at these shots that we have from both teams. Currently, football has 6. But like I was talking about earlier, they need to break down that defense in order to actually be able to get a shot. And it was almost a free goal here on the side of football Carz, but it's saved away from Showtime. I don't remember exactly what player was the one that saved it. I think it might have been Flint.
It was Flint who saved it. And Flint, we haven't actually said his name a lot this game, but this series, he scored so many goals last game. He was involved everywhere on offense, really shutting down football Carz on their own defensive half. It was an offensive fight, and Flint really was the one to come out on top. But right now, football Carz is trying to get one back. It's Tusty's shot is missed. Kim Jong-Merkel to shoot it. It's just in. Kim Jong-Merkel gets the long clear. Football Carz, over aggression. They're starting to try to force things on the Showtime Razz team, and that is for Showtime Razz means that they're doing something right, and that right is to put on so much pressure on this football Carz side. And football Carz, they're trying to break through a wall, but they can't. They don't have the right tools to do it.
That's right. They overcommitted there. You're right. They're trying to break through, like you said, break through the wall of offense that is Showtime Razz. They have to be offensive if they want to come back. We see maybe another one. Not quite. They've got to be offensive, but it could cost them like it just did there.
Yeah, and we saw a demo come out, I believe it was on the side of, I believe it was football Carz.
Yes.
Trying to break down that defense once again. And we saw that we had one player from Showtime, I believe it was Flint, all the way on the blue half. And they just weren't able to get that goal in time before Kim Jong was able to respawn.
In the final minute of gameplay, football Carz, a win, probably necessary as, oh my goodness, they almost get that one there. They probably need to get a couple goals here just to make sure that they don't have to reverse sweep a Showtime Razz team that has come out to play and has absolutely controlled it on football Carz. Football Carz, maybe undefeated, may have beaten Showtime Razz before 3-1 in the regular season, but in the playoffs, this is where you have to win. In football Carz right now, that might not happen here as Showtime Razz controlling this series, controlling this game. Game 2, looking like it's going to be theirs, but Tusty 6, if he has anything to answer with, it's going to be a goal right from the sidewall, and he's trying to get the unthinkable, a comeback late.
They're going to need a strong face-off for this one. I don't know, 6 seconds is not a lot of time, but they might be able to do it. We'll see. What do they go for on the face-off here?
Yeah. And it looks like kickoff is already going in their favor. They have 2 seconds left. Can Tusky possibly get this? He's going up for it, but Kim Jong is there going into the corner, and it looks like it's going to hit the ground there. Game 2 going into Showtime Razz's favor. Currently up 2-0 against the undefeated football Carz.
Oh, some great defense there from Kim Jong-Merkel at the end to shut down that 0-second opportunity. Football Carz was close. They were looking dangerous there, but Merkel had a great heads-up play on the backboard there. Really good way to kill the ball.
Yeah. And like I was talking about last game, it didn't really go in football Carz's favor, but Tusky making a statement here with 10 shots, significantly more than Showtime has in general. Showtime only has 6. Football Carz in total has 12 for this game. It completely went the opposite way, but they couldn't break down that defense of Showtime, as you were talking about, Crouton, with Kim having 5 saves.
It is a lot of defense there, and I didn't even notice he had 5 saves. I was mainly on the great backboard play there at the end, but it's going to be a battle here, and I'd like to know, Sporty, what are these players going to be thinking? They've got to make a stand. They're on match point. Football Cards has got to do something.
Showtime Razz is going to feel like the kings of the world. They just had one of the best defensive performances we've seen of any team in these playoffs so far. How many saves was that in twos? That's tough to do as well. But for Football Cards, they're going to feel that they're shooting not up to scratch. They're starting to try to force things and force shots on net. They need to start to create better plays for themselves. Instead of just shooting the ball to shoot it, instead keep control, try to outplay the first defender, and then put on your shot. Playing one-on-one's a lot better than playing one-on-two, and for them, if they're shooting like they were last game, they're not going to find many goals because their shots just are not going to have a very strong defense. As we do have substitution coming in, Ace Karki jumping in to play for Football Cards. This will change the whole. This could change the whole series.
Who did Ace sub in for?
He subbed in for Samuel.
Ah, okay, so we've got Ace. Maybe he will be true to his name. An ace on the field. They're going to need it. We'll see now. What are you thinking, Tony? How does this? You had a substitution yourself last night. How does a substitution affect the flow of the match?
Yeah, so whenever
Crouton just nice one, Crouton. He just predicted it again. This is what Crouton's like, isn't he? He predicts everything to happen. Now, I think we know how a playstyle change can affect your momentum, as it gives us our first goal of the game here. That playstyle change now allowing Football Cards to get an early lead.
100%. We have Ace substituting in here, and one of the things that we were thinking about last night when we were substituting is how the play style will change, you know, because you have different people coming out,
what a shot.
And they couldn't quite get there with the save on the side of Football Cards. Both players going up for that double commit. That's probably one of the things that they have to keep in mind here, is they have to communicate so much in twos, especially with double commits, because it leaves the net completely wide open.
And I must say, what an own goal from Ace Karki. I'm sure he's not going to be very pleased with it, but that is impressive to be able to tuck it down under the crossbar with that little of an angle. But yeah, the big thing I'm noticing here for Football Cards, their backboard defense completely silent. There's no backboard for them, as now Dusty's going to score again. As I was talking about their backboard defense, but their offense is still playing well. That's been one thing that they can rely on this entire series, is that Dusty's been able to shoot pretty well for them, even though last game could have not been wasn't his best shooting. He is still scoring. And that's a pretty big importance for Football Cards. But if they can step up a little more on defense, especially with the back wall, as that seems to be what the Showtime Razz team is trying to test on them, you could see Football Cards potentially make a run here and give Showtime Razz a run for their money.
Thing to make important note of here is Ace's guys. We have another shot coming in now from Kim John Merkel. He's going to tie things up, but Ace is coming in completely cold. He wasn't in any of the previous matches, so if you ask me, I presume at least, he's only going to get better as time goes on, and they've got almost 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes to do it, and he's got all that time to warm up. We might see a different player by the time this match is over.
And for Ace, he's been very influential this game. Sadly, it's been for the wrong team. Both of the goals that have been scored on him has been a result of a mistake from Ace here. You saw in their first goal, it was his own goal, and in the second goal, he didn't make he popped it back as a pass for Merkel. So far for Ace, this game has not been going his way. He's been having some difficulties getting himself involved on the right side. Again, maybe the pressure coming in here. Again, he is also a bit cold, knowing that he hasn't played yet so far this series, but a little bit of a rough start for Ace.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do have to keep in mind is they are currently down 2-0. And so that is a lot of pressure here on Ace. He has to be that player that can make those decisions to try to get Football Cards back into this, because if Showtime wins this, that's it. This is only a best of 5.
It's true, yeah. This is match point here, and Ace is gonna have to step up. He's been put in, and as I say that, Ace catches himself in the corner a little too short to make that one, make a defensive attempt on that one. But you would hate to be the player that gets put in match point and not be able to make the change necessary, but might be seeing that as now Showtime Razz will take another lead. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left.
And an unfortunate way for circumstance for that to happen. Ace Karki couldn't get the read off the corner, and it just seems like that the substitution made his last gasp here for the Football Cards team. But they're only 1 goal down. They're still half the game. And this touch, not going to be strong. Ace Karki could shoot it. Oh, but Miracle saves. And keep going. No way. Going all the way. Off the post. Tusty 6. Thankful that doesn't turn into a goal.
Good read there from Tusty, knowing that it would go at the post. He was able to make a good clear on it.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that I do want to kind of put out there is the fact that there have been no assists this game. Everyone has been pulling their own weight. And that's one of the things that you have to rely on for some teams is, can each person pull their own weight in the game? Because we also have to see here, there's only been one goal on the side of football that has not went in. And it's one of Tusty's, because he currently has 3 shots with 2 goals. And that's it for football. And as I say that,
3 for 4.
Tusty gets another goal to make it, like you said, Sporty, 3 for 4 on the side of football Carz.
Of course. And you know what, Tusty? The shooting last game was not his peak, and now he's playing very well. 75% shooting accuracy. That is something that you can rely on extremely well for football Carz, but they still need to prove it on defense. That's been the big question here this entire series, as I believe that might be another own goal for Ace Karki. Believe it or not, I think Tusty may have had that save. Oh no, it was an own goal from Ace Karki. You can't really blame him that badly, but my goodness, that's a heartbreaker. Tusty almost came back from that huge blunder off that post to make that save, and Ace Karki to put it in his own nets. Football Cards, it seems like they're getting cursed here by the football gods. There's no way they can get a lead in this series in Game 3. And now they're trying to get it back to themselves, trying to pull it in. Tusty to shoot on the goal line, and it will go in. Slowly but surely, Tusty does it again.
And football Carz is holding strong. They've managed to tie it up before a minute left in the match. They're holding on pretty well. It does seem like Showtime Razz has really been running them ragged around midfield and even on their own half. But despite that, they're tied up. What are you thinking, Tony? Who's this match going in favor of?
Yes, I have no idea, Crouton. It's just a back and forth slugfest. And like we were talking about earlier, Tussie didn't really have too much of a goal presence last game, but he is definitely showing up here with all 4 goals on the side of football. Well, what are you thinking that will happen for the rest of the match, Sporty? Do you think he's probably just going to pull it out for his team, or do you think Ace is probably going to get a little bit more involved here?
I saw Ace Karki play a couple times already. He is not much of a goal-scoring player. He's a lot more defensive than Samuel. You're going to see that Tusty's going to be doing a lot more of this offense kind of in his own name. He's not much of the aggressive type guy, as this is just going to be an open net for Flint. No one back for football Carz. A strange goal, to say the least. Ace Karki and Tusty, an overcommit, and that doesn't happen a lot for the team of Tusty and Ace Karki. I did say Ace Karki is extremely defensive. He doesn't push up very hard, and now he's catching himself trying to get a bit greedy for that lead. And for football Carz, it's the same story all over. It's the same story all over again. They need to find their way back.
It is an unfortunate thing to have to go down 1 with just seconds left on the clock now. They're really going to have to put the burners on it, tie this one up. He's got an offensive here to Ace Karki. It's going to possibly be a goal. It's a 50.
Yep. Shot from Tusty. One more chance. Potential. No, it's gonna keep going. Tusty needs to keep it up. Use the back wall as well, but it's gonna bounce. The Titans of Europe are out. Both of the undefeated teams are now not going to have a medal. They're not going to be on the podium. Showtime Razz takes down the undefeated team. Football Carz are out of the playoffs. And Showtime Razz, a statement. They sweep out the undefeated Football Carz, the Titans of Europe. The team that's been on the stream so often. And this is where the story ends for Football Carz, but for Showtime Razz, it only gets better from here on out. They go to the semifinals. And what do they have in front of them? Well, they have offense. 11 shots, 5 goals. They're able to edge out Football Carz, and this series became a slugfest in 2 of these matches, and Showtime Razz was just better.
Was not for a lack of trying on the part of Tusty and the football Carz team. You see there 4 goals and 4 saves, along with 6 shots. He left everything out there. All credit to him, but congratulations, of course, to Showtime Razz on a great win.
Yeah, and we are gonna get a short interview as well. I know you guys love it here watching a short interview. So we are gonna get an interview with some of the players. But right now we're gonna go to a quick 1 minute ad break, I believe, so that we can set up this interview. Just give us a quick moment, and then the stream will start back up again. Hey, welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? As we are still setting up that interview, I just want to talk about that game. That was what a series and what an upset there, guys. Wasn't it? It was just the ability for them to make it, and they swept as well. It wasn't like it was close, but they went games to none.
It's true, yeah. Showtime Razz really showed up, just like their name. They've got the word "show" in there for a reason, I suppose.
Became a show.
Really took it to football cards. Really said, you know what? We don't care about the stat sheets. We'll just play our game, and we'll really force a sweep. It was a really crazy series, and it was a European series, which I wasn't expecting to have so much fun watching a European team. But you know what? I'm glad to be proven wrong.
Crouton, man,
Yeah.
Europe is a fun time, isn't it? As here we are, into the interview room comes Flint and Kim Jong Merkel. Hey, congratulations on the win. You guys, I saw from the chat you guys were super excited. Is that excitement still carrying over?
Yeah, it is.
My heart rate's like 180 right now. I think I might pass out.
Get some water,
same
Flint.
here.
Yeah, get some water, guys, or something. I don't know. I mean, you
I've
do have
got
the
a,
moist.
got a glass of milk with me. I'm good.
Okay, that's good enough. Well, I mean, coming to that series, heart was racing, heart was pumping because of a few things. I mean, one, you're going against the current favorites to win, the second seed now being the last team that was undefeated left, hanging them down. They were bringing so much pressure on you guys as well, and it was really close. Every single game was extremely close. Flint, take me through. What do you think you had that gave yourself the slight edge over them? Because something had to. You guys were playing just a little bit better. You could see it on the field.
Me and Kim warmed up for a few hours prior to the game, and we had the comms going really well. So I think that really helped because we were in our element that day. Honestly, we played out of our minds.
Yeah, 100%. I want to kind of talk about how you guys prepared for this. So I know a lot of teams end up like watching VOD reviews of the other team. I know a lot of them, like you guys said, you guys were on for several hours beforehand trying to warm up, get those columns warmed up. This is kind of a question for both of you. How do you guys prepare as a like unit, as like people that are going to be playing together? How do you guys like prepare together, and then how do you guys prepare like individually, like mental state and whatnot?
Usually I DM Flint in the mornings how we can play in afternoon and like start getting warmed up and practice just overall our team plays and just hop into ranked and casual and even 1v1s and practice our mechanics, rotations, and obviously comms in the casual and comp playlists.
Now, Markel, I've got a question specifically for you. You
Oh
play
yeah,
very
sure.
well yourself, but I've got to know, how does it feel to have a player on your team, that being Flint, who was just super hot the whole time, putting shots on? I believe game one he had more shots himself than the entire other team. How does it how does it affect the mental when you've got a player who's playing that well?
I mean, obviously it affects us really, really well. It just completely made us go focus, and we just tried to not get overhyped and get too cocky in the game. So yeah, we weren't really looking at individual
Mhm.
performances. We just tried to keep our heads cool and play like we want to and force our playstyle onto them.
Yeah, there's so much confidence coming in, but we can't forget about how you guys lost earlier this season to Football Carz. It was a 3-1 beatdown on Rackham's stream. But like Flint, you guys came back this time. You showed up. You swept them. That must feel amazing to get that to get that kind of revenge.
Well, yeah, obviously we played them a few weeks ago, and I like secretly when we went into the first match before this one, I wasn't feeling particularly confident. I always had it in the back of my mind that they were the stronger team, and I think that affected my mental. But this time round, I came in knowing that this was do or die, and I wasn't kind of sizing them up as a more powerful team. I was just thinking, they're just another two people that we have to beat. And so the mental was a lot better for me that day. So I felt better, and then I played better as a result.
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
What are so I know stats sometimes play a factor into some things. And you were talking about mental state going into games, and I know Sporty was kind of talking about mental state during the game as well. But now that you guys have actually won, you guys have taken the game from them. You guys are in semifinals 100%. What are you guys going to be looking at going forward into your next matches?
Well, I think we've been on a steady road up towards like the second half of the season. We were pretty low for like week 2, 3, and 4, but since the playoffs began, we've started really warming up and just kind of playing together a lot more and improving. I'm sure like Kim can attest to that if he wants to say anything, but
Yeah, we've been practicing a lot together in the last few weeks. Like, after the league play, I just I just didn't enjoy our playing, and I didn't enjoy the way we lost, and I didn't feel like it was how we could play, and so I took them and we just practiced a lot together, and it obviously helped.
Yeah, it helps immensely to come in with that confidence to get that practice going. Now going into the semifinals, Kim, what are you guys gonna do to make sure you can work and secure and get that win against Intercept Mythic, who are watching right now? So don't reveal too much about it.
I just personally think the way we're gonna go in is like we go into every game now. Like we practice a little bit a few hours before that, till like 5 minutes before the game. We keep practicing, like non-stop. We play and play and play, and just completely keep that out of our heads that they could be stronger than us and that we might get dominated or anything. So we just try to keep us focused on our play style and force the play style we are comfortable playing with into the game, and just completely make them uncomfortable in the match and take the match.
That confidence is extremely scary to think about. Now, if you're an Intercept Mythic fan. But again, I want to say congratulations on your win. Thank you so much for joining for the interview as well. You guys are feeling amazing. But before you do go, we do have a short. We always have interviews at the end of our at the ends of our interviews. So we're gonna do it here. We're gonna start with you, Kim Jong Merkel. Is there anyone that you want to shout out? Anything that you want to shout out that has brought you this far?
To be honest, I don't think there is anything particular that brought me that far. Just like the confidence and the grind that kept me into the game, and also there was like a few content creators around Rocket League that kept me into the game. Like if they wouldn't do such great content, I would have probably left Rocket League like a year ago or something. Like as example, Thanovic or Evampel, their content kept me into the game. But also like my friends that I play with other than Rocket League a lot. Like one was watching the whole series. He's called Juicely. I don't know if he's still watching. And like those people, they just brought me the confidence for the games.
Yeah, and now we go to the Captain Flint. You had a great series. Is there anyone that you want to thank for bringing you this far and for now making it into the semifinals?
Well, like first of all, I've got to thank Kim. Like, he's such a fantastic teammate to play with, and it's been a pleasure being able to get this far with him, despite being like a lower seeding. We're proving everyone wrong that's cast a doubt on us, and it's great because like he's far more mechanical than I am, and will probably stay that way forever. He's absolutely cracked. So it's nice to be able to kind of complement his more skill play style and just work together to score a lot of goals. I've got a few friends that don't really play Rocket League that much, but just show up and support me anyway. Like one of them was in the streamer. I don't know if he's still here, but Astrid, if you're still watching, you're a legend for showing up. Thank you.
Yeah,
But
of
just
course.
in general, I've got so many supportive friends that have just been here for me, despite not all being involved with the game, and it's been really nice to have them around.
Looks like, it looks like again those fans showing you support, and it was a real two-man effort to win today. I thank you guys so much for joining. Again, congratulations on your win. You're now semifinals bound. You guys should celebrate for the rest of the night. Have an amazing evening, Kim Jong Merkel and Flint. Hopefully we do get to see you on the stream in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope
thanks
so
very
as
much.
well. Have an
Alright.
amazing day as well.
Of course, thank you guys so much. That's actually really sweet of you guys to say. What a way to end the stream with that nice interview. Crouton, this is gonna be the last time you're actually gonna be on the stream for today. Is there anything you want to say? Any final messages before sadly we'll have to end the stream here?
Well, it's the last time I'll be in the casting booth for today, but later tonight we've got the SNRF match coming up. That's me, and I believe Tony, you will be in the casting booth for that one.
Yeah.
I hope I can put on a good show for everybody.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited to see it.
Hey, what a way to end it! What a way to end the stream. Let's get our raid going. Let's go raid Pyro. We always raid Pyro. Pyro's always a great guy. Let's go give him a raid. Everybody go show your support to Pyro J as he's playing some Turbo Golf Racing. Actually, a really addicting looking game. Thank you guys so much for joining. We're gonna be back later tonight for some NA East action. as we see more people try to continue their playoff run.